a father, a son, two pairs of wings, and a sky that had never before been crossed. This is the story of Daedalus and Icarus. In all of ancient Greece, there was no mind as brilliant as that of Daedalus, the greatest inventor the world had ever known. He had a young son named Icarus, who loved nothing more than to watch his father build wondrous machines. Their fame reached King Minos of Crete, who summoned Daedalus across the sea to build for him a great and terrible secret. For Minos had a monster to hide, and so Daedalus built the labyrinth, a maze so cunning that no one inside could ever escape. He made it so perfectly bewildering that even Daedalus himself could barely find his own way back out. And when the hero Theseus came to slay the monster, it was Daedalus who whispered the secret of the thread to Princess Ariadne. When Minos discovered how the hero had escaped his maze, his rage was terrible, and he placed all the blame upon Daedalus. As punishment, the king locked Daedalus and young Icarus high in a stone tower, prisoners upon the island of Crete. There seemed no way to escape. Minos guarded every road, and his ships watched every wave of the surrounding sea. But as Daedalus watched the birds wheel freely past his window, a daring idea formed. Minos rules the land and the sea, he said, but he does not rule the sky. And so, in secret, Daedalus began to gather feathers, every feather he could find, from the largest to the smallest. He laid them in a row and bound them together with thread and soft wax, curving them into the shape of a great bird's wing. He worked for many days until at last he had built two magnificent pairs of wings, one for himself and one for his son. He strapped the wings to Icarus's arms, and the young man laughed with delight to feel the great feathers move. But Daedalus took his son gently by the shoulders and gave him one solemn warning before they flew. "Do not fly too low," he said, "or the damp spray of the sea will soak your feathers and weigh down your wings. And do not fly too high, or the burning heat of the sun will melt the wax. Stay close beside me on the middle path." Then father and son climbed to the very edge of the tower, spread their wings wide, and leapt out into the open air. And they flew. Up they soared, two figures rising into the blue, free at last from their island prison. Far below, fishermen and shepherds gazed up in astonishment, certain they were watching gods cross the heavens. Icarus had never known such joy, the wind in his wings, the whole wide world beneath him. It was wonderful beyond his every dream. And in his happiness, Icarus forgot his father's warning. He longed to fly higher and higher still. Up he climbed, far above his father, beating his wings toward the glorious golden sun. But the higher he flew, the hotter the air became, and the blazing sun began to soften the wax that held his wings together. One by one, the feathers came loose and drifted away, until all at once his beautiful wings fell apart in the air, and Icarus fell, down from the heights of the sky, down toward the glittering sea, crying out for his father. But Daedalus could not reach him in time. Icarus fell into the waves and was lost beneath the sea. Daedalus circled low above the water, calling his son's name again and again, but only silence answered him. In his sorrow, he named that stretch of water the Icarian Sea so that his son would never be forgotten. Heartbroken, Daedalus flew on alone until at last he came to rest safely in a distant land far across the water. There he hung up his wings forever and never flew again, mourning the bright and daring son that he had lost. And so the tale of Icarus has been told for thousands of years, a story of soaring dreams and the wisdom of knowing how high to fly. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe and follow for more tales from ancient Greece. Next time, a hero, a monster with snakes for hair, and a single deadly glance. The legend of Perseus and Medusa.